What's up guys, and welcome back to another video here on B-Mills Wrestling. In today's video, I am going to be giving you guys my early candidates to win both the men's and women's Money in the Bank briefcases this year. Before we get into the video, if you guys are not already, make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any new uploads, and don't forget to leave a like on this video. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so I'm going to start with the men's Money in the Bank briefcase first. Obviously last year, the men's Money in the Bank briefcase was essentially wasted because Drew McIntyre won it, tried to cash in later that night, and ended up being unsuccessful. So we didn't really have a men's Money in the Bank holder throughout the year like we usually do. We saw Damian Priest hold it for a long time the year before that. So last year, it was pretty wasteful. So I'm hoping this year they do not go in that direction. The first person that I have on this list is none other than Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker is the youngest, hottest, rising superstar in WWE right now. He was called up last year after WrestleMania, and they have strapped a damn rocket to his back since he's been called up. He is now a two-time Intercontinental Champion, had a couple of great runs, in my opinion, as champion, and then obviously loses the title in a fatal four-way at WrestleMania. He doesn't get pinned, so they protect him. And then the night after WrestleMania, he gets inserted into this faction with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. I mean, it's unbelievable how fast he went from the mid-card to the main event scene. I thought it would take a little bit more time, but no. One night is all it took for Bron Breakker to get inserted into the main event scene, and now he's working with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, two huge names in the wrestling industry, taking out Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I mean, it's crazy that he's even being mentioned with those names. But I am just super excited for Bron Breakker in the main event scene. He's just a super exciting guy. The spears he does, he's got the crowd behind him. His entrance theme, I mean, everything about him is aura. Like, I love the way that he is presented. He is the future of WWE, and that's what Seth Rollins has been saying. So I think that Bron Breakker is the most likely person to win the briefcase this year, just because he fits it so well. I mean, they should give the Money in the Bank to younger superstars, like we saw with Tiffany Stratton. I think that Bron Breakker, fits that mold perfectly. He's the young and up-and-comer that deserves the briefcase. And I think being with Seth Rollins, you could do something where Seth maybe wins the world title at SummerSlam or something. Bron wins Money in the Bank, and then they both have the briefcase in the World Championship, and they really just make that faction look dominant. And then maybe Bron Breakker cashes in on Seth Rollins down the line. I'm not saying that should happen, but that's something they could do. I just think he would be an awesome Money in the Bank holder because he is a heel. I think naturally heels are better to hold the briefcase. Babyfaces holding the briefcase, it's just not that interesting. I think that heels are supposed to be the ones holding this Money in the Bank briefcase so they can cash in when the babyface is injured or whatever. I just think that that's a more perfect situation. So I think Bron Breakker would be one hell of a candidate to win the Money in the Bank briefcase this year. The second guy that I have on here is Logan Paul. Now, I know a lot of people do not like Logan Paul. I'm not the hugest fan of him, but you have to admit that he is an unbelievable wrestler, and he's built for the WWE. And, in my opinion, I don't think that he is ready to be in the main event scene whatsoever. I think he's a perfect guy for the mid-card, the U.S. title, the IC title. I think he belongs in that discussion. But I think WWE is trying to tell us that they value him in the mid-card scene. Or not in the mid-card scene, in the main event scene, I should say. They're obviously giving him a world title shot at Backlash against Jey Uso, which he'll probably lose. But they're telling us that they think that he should be in the main event scene. So, obviously, the Money in the Bank briefcase is supposed to help you get elevated into that main event scene so you can win a world championship. I think he wouldn't be a terrible candidate for this just because, like I was saying about Bron Breakker being a heel, Logan Paul is also a heel. He's one of the best heels in the business that has so much heel heat. So I think that he would really fit this Money in the Bank description perfectly. You just get a heel Logan Paul running around the briefcase all year long. Sorry, I can't speak English. And, can obviously have a ton of teases to when he's going to cash in. I think that he would be perfect for that. Kind of like Austin Theory, except wouldn't lose. Although I think a lot of people would want Logan Paul to fail his cash in, but we can't be doing that anymore. I think the cash ins have to be successful from now on, especially after Drew McIntyre failed his. Obviously, Triple H hasn't booked these Money in the Bank runs too well, but I think that Logan Paul would do excellent under Triple H for this Money in the Bank run. I just think he's a great option. And like I said, right now, I don't really see him as a world championship material. But maybe he wins that briefcase and I view him differently. Maybe then I start to think that he is world champion material. You never know what can happen. So I think Logan Paul would be a solid choice. The next person that I have on my list is LA Knight. Now, LA Knight was a fan favorite a couple years ago to win the Money in the Bank, and they obviously fumbled that. They gave it to Damian Priest, who was probably less deserving and didn't have a great run as Money in the Bank, or as Mr. Money in the Bank, I should say. LA Knight last year was also in the match, but nobody thought he was winning because they were setting up the program with him and Logan Paul at SummerSlam for the United States Championship, so nobody really thought he was going to win that match. This year, I just feel like he's lost a little bit of steam. I don't think he's lost all of his steam whatsoever. There's still a lot of fans behind him, but I feel like his shtick is just the same old, right? I feel like he's cutting the same promos every week, and he's just been going back into the mid-card scene every time. Whether he wins the title, he loses the title, he just keeps going back to the United States Championship. So I feel like they have to do something more with him. I'm not completely sold that he's a main event guy, a world title guy, but I think it's worth giving him a try and seeing what can happen if you do give him the briefcase. Like I was saying, I think that the briefcase looks better on heels. LA Knight's obviously not turning heel. He is one of the best baby faces in the business, so it probably wouldn't be a great Money in the Bank run, but I think him winning a world title would be pretty special, and I think the fans would really like that. But I think this one just might be too far gone. I feel like they missed their opportunities for this, and I don't really see him winning it, but I give him a small chance. The next person I have on here is Karrion Kross. Now, I think this one is super interesting because I don't really see this happening. I think there's a slight chance just because he's obviously rarely on TV. He's got like 20 seconds of screen time every Monday Night Raw, and they should be utilizing him more. They should be doing more with Karrion Kross because he is so damn good. He's really talented on the mic and in the ring. They just don't give him that chance to shine. But I think with that recent promo he cut out of WWE, got a lot of fans behind him. So I think that he would be a sneaky pick for this Money in the Bank briefcase. He could do something special. I know that he's never held a mid-card title in WWE, so usually if you're going to win the briefcase, I feel like before you should probably hold a mid-card title, a tag title, something like that. He hasn't, but I feel like if they can just start building him properly, him winning the Money in the Bank would be really good. And then you can see the different side of Karrion Kross that fans are begging to see come out and just get that screen time. So I think that this would be a sleeper choice. The next person I have on my list is Carmelo Hayes. Now, I am a huge Carmelo Hayes fan. Let me put that out there. I love Carmelo Hayes. I've loved him ever since he's been drafted. By the way, he was the #1 draft pick to SmackDown this year. And it just feels like they are fumbling him. I know that he's super young and he has a lot of time left in his career, but I feel like at this point, he should have had the U.S. title by now. I wanted him to win it at Crown Jewel when he took on LA Knight and Andrade in what was an incredible feud, incredible match. Obviously, they didn't do that. And I feel like after that, they just shifted him away from the mid-card scene, and we're kind of just giving him pointless matches against guys like Tozawa, and then like count-out wins against Braun Strowman, stuff like that, which I thought was really dumb. Obviously, right now, he's working with The Miz, and I'm a huge Miz fan. I think that Miz can help elevate Carmelo Hayes, whether people want to admit that or not. But like I said, he's never held a mid-card title, so it's just hard to see him winning the briefcase because of that. But man, I think that he would be really good holding that briefcase just because he is the perfect heel for it. He could have all those teases where you think he's going to cash in and then he doesn't. I think it just fits his gimmick so much. And then him winning a world title would be awesome. But like right now, he's just not credible enough to be like looked at as a serious world champion. I think he needs a few mid-card, United States title, Intercontinental title runs, whatever it is, to be looked at more serious and get more wins under his belt because I feel like he just keeps getting fed to people and just not having enough matches on TV. But this is one that, I would really like to see personally. But as for Triple H, I don't know if he would like to see this one. The next guy that I have on here is Sami Zayn. Now, I don't want this to happen. I am not a fan of Sami Zayn's gimmick right now, where he's just this good guy who's he's too good for anybody else, right? Like Seth Rollins, you're bad because you're teaming up with Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker. I hate it. It's getting old. Like, he's been doing this for a couple years now. I think he's more natural as a heel or just a babyface that doesn't act like he's the best person in the world and he's done nothing wrong in his life. I'm not a fan of this, but I feel like with the things that have been happening recently with him, losing to Kevin Owens, him missing WrestleMania, and then him getting destroyed by Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker on the Monday Night Raw episode we just had. I feel like they're trying to tell us they're building Sami Zayn up to something, whether he wins the briefcase at Money in the Bank or he wins the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, which I think is actually a huge possibility. I think that they want to do the whole underdog story, like kind of with Jey Uso, where he finally overcomes everything and wins a world title, which would be cool. Like, I would like to see Sami Zayn win a world title in his career, but as the gimmick he has now, I don't know. I'm not too interested, but I could see Triple H doing something like this because if Seth Rollins is the world champion, Braun Breaker's the world champion at some point this year, and Sami Zayn, cashes in on them, he gets his revenge, and he finally becomes world champion. I think that would be probably what Triple H is looking for, but I think he's more likely to win the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. The last guy that I have on my list is Chad Gable. Now, I'm just going to be honest, I don't think it's going to happen, but I just want it to happen so bad. Chad Gable, like Carmelo Hayes, is one of my favorites in WWE. He's so entertaining on the mic. His heel character is great. He's an unbelievable talent in the ring. I mean, he doesn't do anything bad. And I feel like they fumble opportunity after opportunity with him. Like, he should have been the Intercontinental champion, I should say, earlier this year. He should have been the one to dethrone Sami Zayn. I'll die on that hill. I feel like they fumbled that. Chad Gable was red hot during that phase, or stretch, I should say. But as for him winning the briefcase, I feel like the chances are slim to none, just because he has never won a mid-card title. He hasn't been a champion in WWE in quite some time when he was a tag champion with Otis, but who was really taking him serious during that run? Probably not a lot of people, so I don't really see him winning this, but I think he, like Carmelo Hayes, would fit this description perfectly to hold the briefcase because he's the comedic heel, right? That could have those false cash-ins or whatever and just be entertaining anytime you get him on screen with the briefcase. I just feel like it would be a perfect match, but I just don't see it happening because I feel like the guys I've named, like Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, Sami Zayn, LA Knight, I feel like that those guys are who Triple H would value more in the Money in the Bank briefcase, or to hold the Money in the Bank briefcase, rather than Chad Gable, because for whatever reason he just doesn't book him properly. And I have no idea when this El Grande Americano character is going to be scratched. Right? I think it's been really entertaining. It's been really fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's got to come to an end at some point. I don't know if that'll be before or after Money in the Bank. It would be hilarious if El Grande Americano won the Money in the Bank and then he just took off his mask and revealed it was Chad Gable. I don't think that'll happen, but that would be funny. But yeah, man, I would love to see Chad win it, but I just don't think he will. All right, now let's move over to the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. Obviously, we know the last year's winner was Tiffany Stratton, and her reign as Miss Money in the Bank was not booked too good by Triple H. I thought the cash-in was awesome. Don't get me wrong. The way they set that up was great. But her holding the briefcase wasn't too phenomenal. But the first person that I have on my list for the women's side is Chelsea Green. I really was convinced Chelsea Green was going to win the briefcase last year. She was the final two on the ladder with Tiffany, and then she got pushed off, took that insane bump. I'm a huge Chelsea Green fan. She's just super entertaining. And I think that she would be the perfect person to hold the briefcase just because she is a heel. She's funny. Like, you're not going to get tired of seeing her on TV with the briefcase. Like, I thought with the whole U.S. title run. The U.S. title run, in general, it wasn't good. Triple H didn't book it good enough. There wasn't enough feuds, enough real feuds. It felt like he just kept throwing her in the same feud. And she had, like, 3 different matches with each Michin and Chelsea, and Zelina Vega. So the reign wasn't too good, but I really did like the gimmick. Like, she had a really funny gimmick, so I feel like they could make it even better gimmick if she's the Miss Money in the Bank. But I would ask that Triple H books her a lot better as she's holding this briefcase rather than when she was holding the U.S. title, because if she's gonna have similar booking to when she was holding the U.S. title, then just don't give her the briefcase. But like I said, she's super entertaining. But I don't feel like enough people view her as a credible threat to beat somebody for a world championship. Like winning as Miss Money in the Bank and cashing in on maybe like an injured babyface like Io Sky or something, you could believe that. But is she believable enough to where she's defending a world championship? I don't know. But I would like to see this happen. The next 3 that I have on here are all from NXT right now. That's Roxanne Perez, Julia, and Stephanie Vaquer. Now, these 3 are unbelievable. They are 3 of the best women's wrestlers in the world. There's no doubt about it. They have been carrying NXT on their shoulders But I think in due time, they are all going to get the call up to the main roster. We're seeing them on Monday Night Raw having matches. We're seeing Roxanne go against Rhea Ripley, right? Stephanie Vaquer is having matches, right? Julia is getting involved, having stare downs with Rhea Ripley. It's only a matter of time before they get on the main roster. I think that they are doing this because of that Evolution pay-per-view that is coming up soon, because they want to have, obviously, more than what they have on the main roster right now to be on that PLE. But I would love all three of these girls to win the Money in the Bank, because I love Roxanne. Roxanne, personally, I think that she would be best to hold the briefcase, because similar to Chelsea, she's just got that annoying heel gimmick, but she's obviously super good in the ring, and I think that she would be viewed as a credible threat to defend a world title rather than Chelsea Green, because Roxanne doesn't always win dirty, and she's just a phenomenal wrestler. So I would love to see that. And then, like, Julia, I think that would also be a good candidate. Out of the three of them, though, I don't think that she would. I think that she is the lowest chance, but anything can happen. She is a heel right now, and like I've been saying this entire video, heels are better with the Money in the Bank briefcase. And then, obviously, Stephanie Vaquer, she's the NXT Women's Champion, so I feel like she's going to hold that title a lot longer just because she's so damn good. So until she drops that title, I don't see her winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, because Money in the Bank is a month away. So unless she drops it within the month and then gets called up and won the briefcase, I just feel like it's unlikely. As much as I would love to see it, she could be a future Money in the Bank winner. But like I was saying with Roxanne, she's also very credible to the point where she could win a world title, defend a world title. Nobody would question it because she's so damn good. But I just don't see it happening just because she is the current NXT Women's Champion. The next person that I have on my list is Jade Cargill. Now, Jade Cargill is obviously super red hot right now within WWE. She just got her singles push. She just won at WrestleMania in a singles match against Naomi. So she's obviously getting that push. She was just in a world title match with Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown. So clearly Triple H views her as a world champion material female wrestler. So I could definitely see this happening, but obviously she is a babyface currently, so I don't know how good her booking would be when she's holding the briefcase. But like I said, she's super over with the crowd. Her gimmick's been really good. She's gotten so much better in the ring as well. So I think that she would be a perfect person to hold this as well. But as of right now, we do have two babyface women's champions. So a babyface winning the Money in the Bank might not be the best idea, just because that wouldn't make any sense unless like Tiffany turned back heel or something like that, or someone else won the world title. But I just don't think it would make too much sense for Jade to win the Money in the Bank just because of that sole reason. But I do think she is a future world champion. The last person that I have on my list for the women's side is my personal favorite, and that is Naomi. Naomi obviously just recently turned heel, and she shocked a lot of people with how good she was at perfecting this gimmick, this heel gimmick. Her promos have been outstanding, and just everything in ring gear, the way she's changed her style in the ring, how she's reacting to things, I think it's been brilliant. So I think that she is the perfect person to win this Money in the Bank, because of that. And obviously, like I said, there's two babyface champions right now, one being Io Sky, the other being Tiffany Stratton. So I think that Naomi would have a great chance of cashing in on either of those two women and becoming champion. In an earlier video, I did predict that Naomi would be the one to defeat Tiffany Stratton to become the women's champion. So maybe this is how they do it. Maybe she wins the briefcase and cashes in, or maybe Bianca becomes champion at some point in the summer and Naomi cashes in on Bianca. Then you get that feud, because we obviously still haven't, dove too deep into Bianca's side of this feud with her and Naomi and Jade. So I think that Naomi is the best pick to win Money in the Bank this year for the women's side. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys like this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on post noties, and don't forget to leave a like on the video. Also guys, leave a comment down below what you guys want to see in the next video. Alright guys, get out of here.